Right. Well, Willie, I've talked with a couple members of the Judiciary and Intel committees this morning, and what they tell me is that they are going to focus very heavily on the 5 specific acts of obstruction, and they're going to try to get Mueller to detail and tell the story, bring this to life for the American people. It's one thing reading about this on a 440-some-odd page report. It's another thing when you hear the person actually, even if you just read it strictly from the report, say it out loud in that type of setting, the power of a congressional hearing and all the trappings and the wall-to-wall coverage, trying to bring that to life. One other member told me that their real goal is to try to tie the underlying acts of obstruction of justice with the underlying effort to have Russia interfere in the election and to link those two together. And at the end of the day, their belief is, for the Democrats, that the people who commit these type of things, who obstruct, they're guilty. People who tell the truth are innocent. We've seen time and again now, whether it's the Oversight Committee, Judiciary Committee, Intel Committee, anytime they ask this administration or anyone part of the Trump campaign to come before them, to answer subpoena, to answer questions, they get stonewalled. They think there's a reason for that. So they see this hearing as the one and best chance that they're going to have, not just to make the case for why the Mueller report is important, credible, substantive, but why going forward their oversight activities are so important and why the courts must uphold them. Remember, this is a permanent record. This is a documented, transcripted hearing that will certainly be cited in the upcoming court cases going on with the Trump administration trying to block oversight.
Justice. As we know, Kurt Bardella, Robert Mueller said in that 8-9-minute statement a couple of months ago, he said, "I will not be testifying beyond what's in the report. The report is my testimony." Well, that's not going to hold up today. Here he is sitting before Congress. He will be asked follow-ups. He can't get away with just giving an 8-9-minute statement. Do you expect, Kurt, Bob Mueller to go outside the corners of this? Is he going to take this moment in history and say, okay, I'm a private citizen now. This is my chance to answer these questions once or for all, walk away from it, and let Congress do what it will with my testimony, and let the American people decide what they want Congress to do with my testimony?
Willie, I think he could go outside of it, but it's really contingent on the members on the dais leading him there.
Right.
And Joe understands this, having served in Congress. These hearings, at times, they're won and lost in the preparation stages. Which members show up prepared? Which members have done their homework? Which members have actually read the material and are familiar with it? There are a lot of things that have happened since the release of the report and now that they will ask him about. They're going to ask him about whether he agrees when President Trump tweets, the report says no obstruction, no collusion. Do you agree with that, Mr. Mueller? Is that accurate when the president says this? That's going to be one of the first questions we're going to hear at this hearing. He's going to be asked, what was his reaction when Bill Barr released that 4-page summary memo? What was his interaction with the Justice Department? What was his guidances to them when he wrote his response to them telling them this isn't exactly accurate?
And why wouldn't he give it?
Yeah,
well,
I mean, he needs
will.
to give it. And Kurt, I'm curious what your thoughts are, what you've heard from the Hill. I know you've been talking to members on the Hill about this hearing. You and I both are familiar with congressional hearings, and there are a lot of high-stakes congressional hearings where a member on your side will say something and you'll just put your head in your hands because obviously they're letting the person presenting testimony off the hook. Have you heard that the Democrats really have this gamed out, that they really have this plotted out, that this is not just going to be a disparate attempt by members of the committee to get their time on national television, grandstand, and not advance a larger narrative?
Yeah, the members I've talked to this morning, Joe, they feel very confident. They've done their homework. They actually were very helped by the fact that this hearing was supposed to happen a week ago, and it's happening now. They bought an extra week of preparation for it. I think some of the members are looking back at, remember at the end of last year when there was a deposition with former FBI Director James Comey. And if you look at that transcript and see how the Republicans, people like Jim Jordan, who's a part of these proceedings, conducted themselves, the line of questioning they took, they're expecting a lot of that's going to be very similar now. Floating conspiracy theories, you're going to hear things about the Steele dossier and text messages with Lisa Page and Peter Strzok. They're expecting that Republicans might be in the position where, in their effort to try to impress Donald Trump and look strong, and misinterpreting this hearing as an interview on Fox News, that they're going to actually incite Mueller to go outside of where he's saying he's going to go. That it might provoke him to go even further by their efforts to try to discredit the report and protect Donald Trump.